When an accident or an incident occurs, the resulting investigation attempts to answer the question what and why. This is the first step in the process. The recommendations that come out of any investigation are usually the most important products. How these recommendations impact on safety in the Nigerian skies is our subject. This is Aviation This Week on Channels Television, and a warm welcome to you. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.
On the home front, we take off with a training organized by the Nigerian Customs Service for licensed agents at the Lagos airports.
It's looking at areas of eliminating bureaucratic bottlenecks.
Certainly, we prepare you to be able to compete with our counterparts, approach home and abroad. It can never be a time waste. My professional colleagues, I don't want to bore you with rhetoric, but sit tight and enjoy your lectures.
The need to be up to date in the pre-arrival assessment reports is on the front burner.
PA is indigenous to Nigeria Customs Service. ANALCA has come of age. ANALCA is doing a beautiful thing, a radical and very innovative assignment, a session designed by them to key in to modernization, key into modernity. Customs is highly modernized. So for ANALCA, who is the patron of Nigeria Customs Service, for them to key in appropriately and properly, they too have to build capacity in tandem with what is ongoing in the power administration.
What we have just done is to reduce the expenditures of the federal government by using ourselves to do the job others were doing on our behalf. And I can tell you, nobody loves this country more than the Nigerians themselves. No Oyiboma can do it better than us. When Ra was in thing, there were so many anomalies. We have debit notes coming up. By the time we fine-tune the process of power in no distant time, there will be no need for you to raise the end because values that are declared meet the benchmark of customs and everything will be done in the open. So we are very...
When the training winds down, all parties here believe that legitimate trade facilitation in a global environment will be greatly encouraged. On the international front, the Flying Kangaroo, as Qantas airline is called, has announced it will cut 5,000 jobs after reporting a heavy financial loss.
We will be deferring growth and working our existing assets harder, deferring or selling more than 50 aircraft, accelerating the modernization of work practices, adopting efficient new technologies across our business, and disciplining our capital outlays in line with our financial circumstances.
The Australian carrier says it's part of plans to reduce cost by $1.8 billion over the next 3 years. The airline, which also plans to reduce its fleet by more than 50 aircraft, said it faced tough competition in both international and domestic operations. At the press conference following the earnings results, Mr. Joyce said Qantas will defer 8 remaining Airbus A380 aircraft on order. It will also defer the receipt of 3 Boeing's 787 Dreamliner jets, which had been ordered for its budget arm, Jetstar.
We will cut where we can in order to invest where we must. We'll be a far leaner Qantas group. And it should be clearly understood that we are taking these actions, we must take these actions, irrespective of any decision which the government may or may not take in relation to levelling the playing field.
Qantas has been trying to convince the Australian government that it deserves financial backing and that rules limiting foreign ownership of the airline to 49% should be relaxed to encourage overseas investment. The airline claims it is at a disadvantage because domestic rival Virgin Australia is largely owned by 3 government-backed operators: Air New Zealand, Etihad and Singapore Airlines. And Newsflash closes with how passengers at Heathrow can now enjoy some plain sporting as they wait for their own flight to depart. The new View Heathrow platform at Terminal 4 is the first of its kind at Heathrow since the old Terminal 2's viewing platform was closed along with the building itself. The new 270-degree observation deck has a view of the southern runway, the control tower and British Airways Concorde. Fixed iPads on the platform show live flight radars so that visitors can identify the aircraft movements in front of them, as well as binoculars to get a better view. The deck, located between gates 15 and 16, was converted from an unused former airline lounge.
Welcome to the home of weather prediction in Nigeria. Within its walls are experts collating scientific figures, telling when the rain, sun, or even thunderstorm will come. Without this team, pilots would not even dare take to the skies.
Before a pilot takes off, there is need. ICAO regulation requires that such a pilot should visit the NIMET briefing room to obtain information on the weather situation, on the aerodrome of departure, en route, and as well as the destination aerodrome.
When the weatherman is at work, he is watching out for certain parameters.
Temperature, you have the pressure, you have the clouds, and you have the weather that is actually, prevailing at that time, point in time. These are the meteorological elements that actually affect weather operations.
And almost always, the parameters determine whether to go or not to go.
At various depths, measuring the temperature of the Earth at various depths, starting from 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters to 20 to 30 to 50 and 100. The wind direction and the wind speeds.
Parameter measurement comes with specific equipment, Doppler radars, and low-level wave shear equipment, which are available. The calibrated meteorological instrument is also in.
And then the meteorologists will see everything and use it to issue the warning to the public.
With the new equipment in place, NIMET says is guaranteeing accurate and timely weather information that will ensure safety both on land and in the air.
Africa has just 3% of global air traffic. But in 2013, African crashes accounted for roughly 20% of the 29 accidents and 265 fatalities worldwide involving passenger and cargo planes designed to carry the equivalent of at least 14 passengers. That's according to an affiliate of the Flight Safety Foundation. Here in Nigeria, the crash records are not so impressive, with an analyst putting it down to lack of economic regulation, especially with the October 3rd, 2013 crash of Associated Airlines.
There's a present disconnect between the economic regulation and the safety regulation. I am sure that if the economic regulatory part had been up and doing, someone like Associated would not have his AOC operating as today because they've not been flying their scheduled flight for over a year, they've not been paying salaries, and some of the people that operated those flights have been owed some salaries too.
The NCA applies the same standards to the major and the fringe airlines. the rules are the same. Because if you are an AOC holder, you are an AOC holder. I mean, airworthiness certification of an airplane, I mean, the responsibility is likely domiciled with the operator.
If the rules are the same, then what is wrong with the non-punitive reporting system?
If that system is really working, if it is not skewed, you won't see people reporting after the crash. And of what's important is all this information that come out after the crash. When you had all the windows to bring this information to the authorities before the crash.
For other experts, the high cost of airline operations and the absence of a maintenance repair organization contributes to low safety standards.
That is a very large chunk of what is now affecting our domestic carrier, whereby they have to carry their aircraft outside the country for major maintenance.
Where there are challenges, solutions must match up, and this time it's coming from a passenger.
I think there needs to be a total overhaul of the sector. I think government should partner with a private to see exactly where we need to go from here.
We need to lower the cost of airline operation, and that is by having a maintenance facility in this country.
With all of this, the International Air Transport Association IATA insists that African countries can improve their safety record if they implement the 5 initiatives of the Abuja Declaration 2012 with a particular focus on accident prevention methods focused on runway safety and loss of control.
Make sure you purchase your ticket under the exact name that appears on your ID. It might seem obvious to you that Betty is a nickname for Elizabeth, but it may not to a desk agent or a security officer, any one of whom could ask you to show identification with that name before boarding. So use the name that appears on your official ID card.
Welcome back. On our interview segment, the commissioner in charge of the Accident and Investigation Bureau, Captain Mukhtar Usman, is our guest. A seasoned pilot with about 36 years of practice in his kitty tells us how the recommendations from the Accident and Investigation Bureau is impacting on safety in Nigeria and also creating a platform for accident prevention.